was like from, I guess, a Scientology award night or something like that, was removed by Scientology from the internet. Now, why does Scientology seek to remove videos like that? Is it that Scientology is trying to prevent criticism?
I doubt it. Probably has to do with copyrights and stuff like that.
Oh, so it's a copyrighted video.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not anywhere near the top of this organization. I have no idea what they're doing any more than you do.
Oh, really? Well, I find that hard to believe, considering you're probably a Scientology.
Well, I have my opinions, don't I?
That's true.
Anyway, I noticed that you are on my screen as a non-122, and that sounds like you're hiding.
What does that mean, 91120 what?
That's what's on my little tattletale here about, information about who's calling.
Oh, the caller ID?
It doesn't say Tom Jones or anything like that. It says
no, it's
non-122.
It's a restricted number. It's a restricted number.
It's restricted number.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. This is
I'm
my
not sure what that means either, but...
Well, it's a telephone company. If you don't want your number to show up on a caller ID, privacy issues.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, I know that that's available, and there's quite a lot of good reasons for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're going to be in Edmonton in 2 days, you got my address now. You obviously have my phone number. Why don't you come on down?
Sure. I mean, could we discuss more when we get there?
Sure.
What exactly, if someone walks into a church, what do you do with that person?
Well, I talk to them and invite them to watch a DVD.
A DVD about what?
Depending on, it depends a lot on what they say when they come in, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm a student.
For 20.
And I know, Scientology, or from what I've read, can do a lot for students. Help them study better and all that. Can you do that for me?
We have some technology on how to study and what screws study up.
So is this a practical organization or a religious organization?
It's a religious organization.
Religious organization.
Okay.
And
we have an awful lot of data which we study.
Well, I have one last question. Is that, one of the other things that a lot of people complain about is that they say that in order to have spiritual advancement in the Church of Scientology, you have to, pay a lot of money. And usually the line is, there's a basic introductory, it's very cheap, but people say that it gets up into the thousands of dollars. How is this similar or different from Christianity?
Well, I don't know. Have you ever been part of a Christian church?
I'm Catholic.
Okay. So you know that the Catholics have an awful lot of buildings.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have an awful lot of meetings, and they got shrines and all that kind of stuff. Everything costs money to secure or to get in the first place and to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
And the Catholics raise money the way they raise money.
I think my question is for a Catholic, they voluntarily, without being asked for, donate their money, and they can reach spiritual advancement and have access to scriptures and knowledge and whatever, and their philosophy without paying a single cent. Now, is that the same case with Scientology? Can I develop in the organization without paying?
There are some free services.
There are. But can I be spiritually advanced? Can I be a spiritually advanced person? If I want to get up to the top levels of spiritual advancement?
No, we pay our own way, okay? Every part of this church pays its own way, and the entire church pays its own way. There's no daddy big bucks anywhere who throws huge sums of money to cover the expenses and who therefore has undue influence.
Yeah. Yeah, so in that way, it's a lot different from the Catholics, let's say, where they can...
Well, if you say so. I've not participated in the Catholic Church beyond a few Sunday services.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like, they didn't charge you a fee or anything. But that's all I wanted to know.
Well, you can come to our Sunday service and there's no charge.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a lot of questions I think you can answer, and you sound like a really nice guy.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I almost forgot. There is one thing that I just had written down here that I forgot to ask about, is the question about Xenu. Have you ever heard of Xenu?
Xenu?
Yeah.
No, never heard of it.
Yeah,
It sounds like a comic book character.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, I guess it's a lie then, because I was reading in a couple places where there's like something called OT3 or something like that, and in this OT3, like they tell you about the story about an intergalactic space lord named Xenu, who puts you in a volcano and blows you up, and that sounds pretty silly, right? Where do people come up with this stuff?
Quite amazing.
You have to wonder where people come up with this stuff.
Yeah, but then if you've been watching any movies or TV shows in the last 20 years, there's some pretty wonderful stuff they not only come up with, but get broadcast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but like
once in a while, people pay huge dollars to go and watch it. I mean, look at the popularity of Star Trek a bunch of decades ago.
Science fiction is a really popular way to just get money, I guess.
Well, if they do it in a way that touches people, so they're willing to pay out $10 or $20, whatever it costs to go to a movie these days, or buy a DVD, or buy the products that are paying for the advertising, but they have to make contact with large numbers of people, or it just disappears over the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
So science fiction definitely is, there's freedom in it as an author, because you can basically invent any stage that you want to and put any characters you want to on there with any kind of emotions or actions that you want.
Yeah.
Okay? But not everyone that writes down something is liked by the first people who see it, and they just, if they say anything about it at all, they say, don't waste your time. You sound a lot younger than I am. Are you, 20-something?
Yeah, I'm about 23. I'm getting my doctorate in journalism.
Okay.
So, this is just one of those...
Yeah, well, if you watched Star Trek, then you were really young when it was on, right?
Yeah, I was, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I thought it was great. There was a lot of philosophy in there and a lot of what-if questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the whole, science fiction thing is really a way to, kind of ask, those bigger questions, Well, I was going to say generation, but it takes a little bit more than that. But there is a format of literature that is understood by the people of the planet in a given set of decades. And it changes. And now science fiction is a stage, a format that most people know what the symbols mean. Yeah.
And it's very, very useful for anybody who has a point of view that they can dress up in those symbols.
Yeah.
And they get to make their pitch.
Yeah,
there's a lot of science fiction. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're making a lot of sense. That's
Thank you.
True. You're really kind of inspiring me to come and visit. So, I really have to give it to you.
All right. Now, you're actually going to be in Edmonton here in a week or so.
Basically, yes.
Or soon. Soon, you said.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah. And you said you're in Quebec City or Montreal?
I'm in Quebec City.
You're in Quebec City?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that the org there is pretty much a French org. You might have a bit of trouble finding somebody to speak English.
Okay. Well,
Montreal, on the other hand, is